So we are now going to move in to the final panel of this Ad Insights session. We're just waiting for all the panelists to come together. So whilst we start to get them together, I just want to remind everybody this is just the very tip of the PG Connects iceberg. We have a lot of stuff lined up for you this afternoon. I think back in this, we're back with New Market Monetizer from 2:30 in this room and Incredible Indies from 3 o'clock in the other. And then we have other tracks. We have Mastering Multiplayer. There's at least one of the things going on. We also at lunchtime, we're not finished yet, just waiting for panelists. At lunchtime, we have the Mentor Lounge for people that want to do that, the IGDA Mentor Lounge in the Discord and the Journalist Bar from 2. So that's all in the Discord. So you can kind of do drop in once this panel's out of the way and have a poke around the Discord, and obviously go into Meet to Match. Go into Meet to Match, because that's where you meet people and match with them and stuff. So that's what we need. But yes, I think we'll start to bring our panelists in now for the final session. And while we're doing that, I do want to say a reminder as well that obviously this is our hopefully, and not that I've loved doing this conversation, hopefully this is our final digital only event for a while. We will be supporting all our events with hybrid digital elements, but we will be going back to live. We've got a Christmas mixer in December and then back in London. So PGC London, it's always been a brilliant show. One of my favorite things time of the year. So if you get a chance to get over here in January to the U of K, please do come across and join us there for what should hopefully be as a celebration of coming back into life. It's so awesome. I've been to quite a few live events recently. It's just such a great feeling just to be back, just seeing people, and even have to hug or kiss or anything, just sort of saying hi and meeting people a bit more face to face, and having those kind of sporadic sort of unplanned meetings is always a great thing. So yeah, do come if you get a chance. Definitely do come along to that. I think Catherine's going to start filtering in our panelists now, so they'll be coming in the background. What else is going on? What else is going on today? I don't know. Yeah, we've got the Investor Connector sessions been going on in the background today. So, and that's been happening, creating more investment in the industry. How much more do we need? I reckon we're going to hit 100 billion. So 71 billion end of last quarter. I think it's going to be 100 billion. I generally think it's going to happen. It's slightly insane, but I think it's going to happen. So that's coming in, and then we're going to be. And then we've got another one of that this afternoon. And then tomorrow is the PC and console beginning pitch. I don't know if there's any slots left to pitch, but there might well be. But there's and then there's mobile on Wednesday. So I know the speed match. If you're a developer or publisher looking to meet with another developer or publisher, as in a developer or publisher, then you should get involved in that. Hello. Oh, Amy's here. People are joining. Sorry, I was just waiting for them to join, chatting along. Everybody's very much. I really wanted to say everybody's really, or apart from John, who is John, everybody's kind of followed the plan and the user backgrounds. I really appreciate that. They've come to our official studios that we've built up all around the world and sat in there. So that's great. Cool. I think we have a panel in place. So this is a final session of the Ad Insights track. This is a panel entitled "The Truth About Ads." Will it be the truth? I don't know. Is disruption a requirement or an opportunity for game makers? And we have representatives from AdMix, we have FunPlus, Mattel 1263, Calibri, and Fiber here. And I believe, Amy, are you going to be hosting this?
Yes, I will be.
I hope you are, because I haven't got any questions. So it's going to be a very short panel on the way. Well, I can make
All
it.
Right.
But how are you, Amy?
Doing well.
Whereabouts are you? Are you in Asia at the moment?
I'm in China right now. Yeah.
And it's late, guys. You're so good. I owe you a massive dinner and a drink at some point. You always come on here when it's quite late in China and help us out. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get together in those in-person conferences.
Yeah, definitely. I want to get out there and people come over here. It's starting to happen. Obviously, we've got to do it safely and follow all the regulations and stuff. But yeah, it is. Like I said, I've been to some shows recently. It's just so nice. So exciting just to see real people again. It's great. Anyway, enough of me. I'm going to pass over to you, Emmy, and you're obviously from Mattel 163, but you can introduce yourself and manage the panelists. I'm here in the background.
All right, so this is my first time moderating a panel for Pocket Gamers. I'm very excited. We have a group, great group of people to talk about ad insights. So my name's Amy. I am CEO of Mattel 163. We're developer and publisher of casual games with iconic IPs from Mattel, who's one of our shareholders. So we develop and publish this game, Uno, as a lot of people know, it's the #1 card game in the world. And we're working on many more casual titles. So yeah, this panel today is about ads. Is it a requirement? Is it opportunity for developers? So we have panelists from game developer and publishers, and also from ad tech platform companies. So it'll be great to have perspectives from both sides of the ad business. So I would like for my panelists to introduce themselves. Enric, shall we start with you?
Sure, definitely. Hey, nice to meet you, everyone. This is Enric. I'm from Barcelona, and I'm the GM for the West Market Operations at FunPlus. We'll renamed first-class developer and publisher. We have titles such as State of Survival, King of Avalon, Guns of Glory that has been ranked on the top positions over more than 70 times during the last years. So FunPlus, apart from these, have different studios that develop different kind of genres. Apart from Kings Group, we have Kuzala, we have Imaginary Studio, and 7 Games. And apart from these, FunPlus is the founder of FPX, one of the most successful FPX Phoenix, that is one of the most successful esports teams that has been launched in the last 4 years. So happy to answer any questions and to be here with all of you guys at Pocket Gamer Connects.
Great, thank you, Enric. Stefan?
Hi, everybody. Nice to be on this panel. I'm Stefan. I head up global publisher partnerships for Admix. And Admix, we focus on games and the metaverse, and we put both immersive and visual experiences into the gameplay and within these virtual worlds.
Great, thank you, Stefan. Nate?
Hello, everyone. My name is Nate. I'm the Director of Business Development at Colibri Games. Colibri Games is probably most known for Idle Miner Tycoon, which is our flagship game. Our objective is to be the #1 idle games developer in the world. So we also have a few other idle games, including Idle Firefighter Tycoon, Idle Restaurant Tycoon, Idle Pirate Tycoon. By now, you can guess our naming nomenclature here, bit of a pattern. I am joining you currently from Berlin, where we are headquartered. We were also recently acquired by Ubisoft, so we now have folks all around the world who are working on these idle games. It is very good to be here. Thank you very much.
Great. And last but not least, Shalom from Fiber.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shalom. I'm based in London. I'm responsible for I'm the managing director for the entire EMEA operation. At Fiber, Fiber is a monetization provider, helping publishers, app developers to maximize their revenues were mediation, Fairbid, Offerwall, and Marketplace. We were acquired by Digital Turbine recently, helping publishers also to increase user acquisition with our sister companies like AdColony and Appreciate on the brand and the performance campaigns.
Great, wonderful. So I'll jump right into it. So this year has been a big year, talks about privacy with iOS 14 in the market. So I just like to start the conversation with, you know, as user privacy is getting more and more regulated for the gaming space, and ad networks are very limited in the user information that you allow from the platform side. So what are the ad tech companies doing to improve the accuracy and the effectiveness of ad targeting to help the developers maintain their revenue? So this question goes to the ad tech companies, and then we can jump in from the developer side to offer your perspective from the other end. Yeah. So Stefan or Shalom, would you like guys to start with this?
Sure. So from our side, you know, the world has, you know, definitely has changed and shifted. We went from a deterministic world in which we could identify user identity into a probabilistic world when we are going and identifying users' behavior And rather than knowing specific data points about the user, we know general behavior points about the user. And this is what we were trying the past 6 months as an industry to bring together. What kind of, for example, parameters we're able to identify about the user's behavior that will be valuable to the advertisers. And you will be surprised to know there are plenty of them. We call them contextual parameters. Parameters like, for example, the battery strength and the Wi-Fi strength and the available disk space. If you have specific amount of parameters, then you know that if your battery, for example, is on saving mode, you probably will not be downloading now specific games. So there are specific needs for those users in that time frame, and those needs, and by quantifying this data and passing them on the OpenRTB protocols to the demand, they are able to measure them and eventually pass them different advertisements to those users that are not necessarily resulting in decrease of revenues. The machine learning and the automation around it still takes time, but as an industry, we did a terrific job on bringing everyone together, DSPs, mediations, publishers, explaining the needs and eventually solving it. And I think that this is something that we see the fruits of the past 7-8 months of work together as an industry.
Okay, so new parameters, okay. Stefan, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, sure. Just to add from that, so we know it's been a complete minefield with the changes. We currently focus on non-intrusive ad formats. So we work with the brand advertisers. So we're not as, we don't utilize the sophisticated lookalike modeling for driving app install campaigns. From our side, what is really important is age and gender. And within that, similar in terms of contextual signals, we can target passion points. So for example, because we have our SDK directly into the publisher, if we know, for example, someone has scored a goal and they're playing a game, we can in essence serve ads for Coca-Cola directly within that particular experience. And not with anybody in our publishers, we are working to make sure that we can collect data where we can. For us, the most important thing is age and gender, because it allows us to match against the target audience that we have for our brand advertising campaigns.
Okay, so from the developer point of view, Nate, Enric, I know you guys don't deal with ads, and I'll come back to you later with a different point of view. But Nate, do you have anything from your end? How has this year impacted your ad revenue for your games?
Sure. So at Colibri, one of the things that I'm working on is our ad monetization. And we've definitely seen some impacts when it comes to the types of networks that are succeeding, perhaps now more than before, and some networks that were previously very big for us that have kind of taken a back seat when it comes to their performance, both in revenue and in impressions. We're seeing, and I think Shalom kind of hinted at this at the beginning in his introduction, outside of just the contextual ads, that a big part of the industry approach has been consolidation. So with more ad networks bringing in additional, not just other ad networks, but additional tools, such as ad review tools, such as attribution tools, and now in some cases, other gaming companies, that a lot of the advertising partners that we're working with are looking to broaden the ecosystem that or the role that they're playing within the ecosystem of apps and games, and that this will have a profound effect in providing more data points for them to use for targeting, which can ultimately help us when it comes to monetizing better, at least when it comes to the algorithm. The other added benefit for this is that with the acquisition of new tools by ad networks, it gives us a little bit more value add when we're working with any partners. So, if some great creative review tool gets acquired, it means that we can now use this as a partner, which is pretty nifty.
Okay, great. Enric, I know FunPlus doesn't use ad monetization within its own games, but from the user acquisition point of view, it also impacted media buyers because you can't attribute as before. So what is your perspective on all of this from the buyer side?
So definitely, we're looking for new ways to acquire the data that we've been missing right now. So the way that we are seeing this right now is trying to expand the way to bring new users into our games. Just focusing on the traditional UA media sites. We are also focusing on different kind of channels that can be also different stores that can provide a different kind of, let's say, data users that they have. Also, we're doing some kind of different advertising with different formats, like focusing on influencer marketing campaigns. We're doing more also traditional media buying that is making a mix in between all the information that we're having with TV campaigns, for example, doing a 360 campaign that can brings us different kind of information from different sources. Then we can get a little bit more of data from all those sources and plan campaigns that are more worthy and interesting from our side.
Great. Okay. Well, for people who are just, for a lot of game developers, relying on ad revenue or doing hybrid monetization has been the norm for a while. But for developers who are just coming into this type of monetization, what are some of the advice that you guys can offer to help people pick the right partner? Selecting the right mediation tool or selecting the right ad network, from the large players to some of the niche players. How would you tell a newcomer into this ad monetization side, how would you find the right partners? Shall we start with Shalom?
Sure. So there are different criteria to choosing the right partners. If you just speak about mediation, for instance, then your basic need, existential need, is to make money, is to make revenues. You have to maximize, you have to grow them. And so revenues will be the one for the most important. But what kind of technical capabilities are supporting the revenue stream? And there you need to actually go and check a little bit what kind of technical support is available for this kind of platform. So for example, what kind of bidders are available? We see more and more bidders are getting to the market. What kind of bidders are available in each mediation partner? Who are they? What kind of A/B testing this mediation partner allows you to support? You have to have as much as granular A/B testing in order to check what is the status with compare bidding networks to not bidding networks, because they all eventually affect your revenues and maximization of your growth. What happens to your latency report and et cetera, management API. There are different technical components that supporting your revenue growth, and this is something that you must check as a first step. But there's an additional layer of criteria, which in my opinion is maybe most important, is the trust and unbiasedness. If you have to have a full trust with your provider, it means that as somebody that starts their business today, your needs today will not necessarily be the same needs of tomorrow. The organization growth, the needs develop and evolve, and you need to have a provider that will help you to support those needs in the future as well. When you have this trust, when you have this understanding from the technical and the business point of views with the provider, it helps you to grow your business much faster because you have the fundamental trust between each other. And lastly is the unbiasedness. It's really important today, and we see that it's hard to be a referee and a player on the same pitch, right? You have to develop certain things that working for your user, for your client, who is the publisher. What do you develop eventually influences their growth, and you have to choose partners that eventually are separated between the technical capabilities and the business support that they offer. And in my opinion, those are the main existential ones: revenue, technical ones, transparency, growth, and trust.
Mm-hmm. Stefan, what about your point of view from
Sure. I'm going to be quite biased, right, because of the company I represent. So I'll probably hand it over to the other panelists. But what I will, transparency is extremely important, right, in anything that we do. And if you can, access to unique demand rather than multiple demand sources. That would be my summary on this one.
Okay. Yep. Nate, what's your perspective from as a developer and publisher? How have you guys, gauged and measured the partners that you guys work with?
Sure. So at Colibri, as I mentioned in the beginning, our objective is to be the #1 player-driven idle game company in the world. So what we're trying to make sure we do when we're choosing any partner that we're working with is that that's helping to advance that objective. So that can mean a lot of different things. It can mean choosing partners that are reputable. So we know that there's not going to be a lot of crash issues, choosing partners that offer us lots of bells and whistles, right? So that we're making sure that we're taking advantage of our of that relationship as best as we can, so that we can optimize for every ad that we're showing, right? Like when we're showing a player an ad, we're taking anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute of their time. So we want to make sure that we're showing them the best ad, and that in that relationship that we're monetizing well. So we want to make sure that those are good partners there. And I think beyond that, then we would look at things more technically on our side. What is useful? So is it easy to integrate? Is it easy to update? Does this plug into our other business systems? Are there APIs that work well with any of the other tools that we're working with? And I think those kind of like guiding lights help us choose which partners we're really focused on.
A couple of things both Stefan and Shalom mentioned is, trust and transparency from the networks. We also work with multiple partners in the ad space, and actually the transparency and the data is not always extremely transparent. So I think to go deeper into like the question to go deeper is, how do your bidding systems ensure fairness and verifiability in terms of the way you allocate traffic amongst the different networks that's in the system? This is a question for the ad tech companies.
Sure. Shall I lead on this one, Shalom?
Yeah.
So also just to add with that as well, the ad experience and control is extremely important. When we launched back in 2017, we very much started working with smaller gaming publishers where the #1 goal was revenue, right? CPMs and fill rate. And as we started talking to the bigger publishers, it became very important that the control is extremely important. And I can give an example. And if you're running a raw video campaign and you do a screen grab, say it's a badly rendered ad or it's not the right content, and we know it happens, you don't know what game it's on, right? So, when we're working with Gameloft, we've got to make sure that where we put the ads within the environment, it renders exceptionally well. The ads are of high quality, and the advertiser has a decision to decide what ads they want to run with it, because it's so important to have that right within the gameplay. And it's not just, of course, the person responsible for ad monetization, it's the game developer in particular. It's my game. So that's one thing that we've worked very hard on. And in terms of the next question, we have a direct sales team that go, I'm not here to pitch AdMix, but we have a direct sales team that goes out to the agencies and direct advertisers for premium. And then we have open market where quite simply we plugged into 25 different DSPs on the brand side, and it's an open market, everyone's bidding. Some of our publishers want direct demand and open market. Some are more to direct demand. And for us, we need to give them all of the control so they can pick and choose exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yours is an open platform where the developers can kind of set their own allocations through your mediation tools. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so at the moment, there's currently no mediation in play, but it's coming. But it's quite simply, you want direct demand from the agencies direct, or open market, which is programmatic. But we give them all the controls; they can decide exactly what they want. And sometimes they're more, they're happy with open market outside of the key tier 1 countries because they need revenue. So it's giving them complete control so they can manage their activity in play.
Okay. So Shalom, how Fiverr has a mediation tool. So how do you guys
Sure.
deal with this? Yeah.
So Fairbid, which is our mediation, as a components of bidding networks and the ones that are still traditional ones that are not supporting bidding at this point. And how do you actually really check if it's a fair transactions over there or not, if the auction is conducted properly? So you can speak with your sales manager, account manager, maybe the mediation company will bring also the technical people, and they will try to verify and certify those promises and how the technical requirements go. But this is words, right? This is only, you have to believe or not. If you have the trust, we spoke about it last time, then that's great. But if you want to probe it a little bit more, what do you do? And this is what we developed. We developed the auction audit that enables you as a developer on each and every placement, on each and every instance level to check what exactly the transaction and how it went. Where did it go in terms of the price that each and every one of them paid on the first, on the second price, auto CPM or not. And that gives you the ability to verify whether the promises and the technical verifications coming together in one way. And this is something that we believe developers today appreciate very much. And this is the transparency that we're speaking about. Transparency can mean a lot of things, but when you show exactly how technology happens, then this is the transparency that eventually developers get.
Okay, great. Just to jump a little bit from what our current discussion, and to bring the other panelists, Enric, into the conversation. So, and we've been getting some questions from the audience, so I'm going to blend that with my own questions. So, there's like the traditional interstitial, the reward ads, banner ads. The user experience actually requires the audience to jump out of the game and then go into the ad. And so a lot of the developers are worried about the user experience and then the loss of a potential user, and then you get distracted, then you go somewhere else, right? How do you deal with this when you design your the ads in the games? Nate, I think, for Colibri, you guys will be great to answer this question. And further to, bring Enric into the conversation when FunPlus is thinking about all of this, like the new ad formats, etc. Like how do you guys leverage the new experiences to engage with your users? So that would be a further extension. But Nate, let's start with you. How do you guys design the best user experience for with ads?
Yeah, I mean, user experience here is of paramount importance. So we have idle games, right? And in an idle game, it's a mechanic, and it's usually grafted onto a simulation type game. So typically like a business simulation. And what the idle mechanic gives you are essentially two levers, which are pay or money and time. And that's all we can really play with when it comes to how our ads are working, right? There's no way to fail or lose an idle game. So it's not like other games where there are natural breakpoints, oh, you lost a level, we'll show you an ad, or maybe we'll show you a rewarded ad where you can, watch an ad and then get your life back. It's a different kind of experience, and users are expecting that. So they expect that there's probably going to be some ads that they're going to be watching. So we make sure that when we're implementing ads, the first ad that we always implement is a rewarded video ad. Now we have other ads. So we will do interstitials. We've looked at banners and other types of ad units too. But we start with the rewarded video ads, and we ensure that to some degree we're over generous in the rewards. We want to optimize, especially with our early titles, towards higher retention. And not so much about monetization. We know that we can add all sorts of monetization hooks later, but if we fail to deliver something that retains players, then our game's not going to be very good, and it's going to get canceled. So we make sure that we're optimizing that way. And when it comes to, players churning out because they're watching the ads, I mean, in our games, generally you have to watch, on average, we see most of our players well, of all of our players, about 50% will watch an ad. And of that 50% that watch an ad, they watch about 8 ads per user per day. So it's a lot of ads. So they're watching 8 and they're not leaving immediately. We know from research that we've done, both on the analytics side as well as on the more qualitative side, in interviewing our players, that they have multiple idle games that they're playing at any given time. So usually what happens is that they'll be playing the game, they'll see an ad, maybe they'll click on the ad, maybe they'll install that app, then they come back and finish their session, and then they can go and play the other game. So they sort of ping pong around. And as long as we're not too aggressive there and we provided them an experience that they can come back to, we're fairly confident that they will. As I mentioned, we do have other ads. And so our approach is, for something like interstitials or other types of games, when adding them, is that usually we wait until they've played a little bit before we start running those types of ads. And that allows us to have a little bit of extra time to gather data on what sort of player they are. We want all of our players to have a great time, but if we've determined that a player is likely not going to monetize by making an in-app purchase, we can begin to show some, but not aggressively, but some ads that are more interstitial.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Enric, you guys are a huge media buyer for all of your games. So in terms of like the app formats you are designing in your UA campaigns, do you have any new formats? Are playables a big thing for your games, or the new trends that are coming out that you guys see work great with your ads?
Yes, definitely. So as we've been mentioning before, there's different kind of formats that industry are using, but most recently, one of the most relevant formats that we're starting to be used and being a lot of great conversions is the playable ads, definitely. Video ads are really the big part of this cake, definitely. But the playable ads are starting to become more and more relevant. On the playable ads, it's really important to have an interesting design of those videos with something that is related with what the games are going to be facing with the real game. So that's the reason why we're doing a lot of processes in order to create those video ads, either internally as externally. So we manage a lot of A/B testing in different parts of this. What we've been seeing with all the process of creating video ads is that as more easy and as with less steps you make it, more conversion you're going to have in those ads. But also when you put elements that the users are going to be finding in the game, in those video playable ads that you're creating, more great results the campaign normally have. But definitely, I think that actually what we're focusing a lot, apart from the formats, is in the type of ads that we're producing. We are trying not to create something that at the end the user is not going to be finding in the game. So always trying to show them some kind of real play game that they are going to be facing on the game, because if not, generating the frustration of those conversions from the users that are not going to be seeing what they are expecting from the industry, from the ad, it's going to be a little bit complex. Apart from this, the other thing that we're focusing a lot is on the type of content that we're putting on the ads. That's one of the reasons why most recently in games like State of Survival, we've been doing great cooperations with IP holders. We did a very huge campaign with AMC with The Walking Dead, integrating a specific character from The Walking Dead in our game. That partnership brought us a lot of great results, not just on revenues, of course, and new users, but also on the conversion of the ads that we've been managing. And we've been exploring those ads with these new characters that engage more the users. With every format that we have, with static, with video, and of course with playable ads.
Wonderful. Okay, so from ad tech point of view, do you guys have new tools that you're working on, like new app formats that would be great for developers to try out in the future?
Shall I go first?
Go ahead, Stefan.
Yeah. So we find ourselves in what we believe is a new area. So at the moment, we mainly focus on, any screen within a game, we can put slots for brands within that space. And it really varies on the game in terms of where those formats might go. At the moment, it's very much banners and video. We plan, and we're doing custom integrations as well, where we get a brand and overlay within the game. For example, we're doing something for Movember at the moment. I'm being an evangelist for Movember. Please make a donation if you can. I want to bring that in there. But what we have coming out next year that's being excited from the brand side and the game developer side is wearables, where, again, it's not for every single game, but where we have characters or buildings or cars, we can overlay wearables on top of these elements within the gameplay. But on the other side, we, recently we've been sort of buying lots of land within the metaverse. Just yesterday, one of the leading metaverse environments is Somnium. And we did an NFT drop where at the moment we are allowing landowners to bid and win virtual billboards that they can put within their plots, their parcels within the game, and it allows them to start monetizing and making money. We're getting lots of excitement from the brand side. We do know at the moment it's not really about a reach play because it's very small, but it's going to grow massively. There's lots of excitement there, but then very quickly we're starting to, in essence, create sort of plots, right? In terms of we have the tools that allow, for example, we could be talking to a fashion brand, right? We can make a store for that fashion brand within the metaverse. We can look to bring sort of concerts into the metaverse. So that is what we're finding. If anything, the metaverse is like the massive buzzword at the moment, and there's a lot of excitement around it at the moment.
Great. Shalom, anything to add to that?
Definitely agree. I think that just to reiterate, I think that brands in general have a much bigger and much wider opportunity in this decade. The previous decade wasn't necessarily a decade of brands with the performance campaign being dominated, but I think that metaverse and the future of the technical capabilities, like the support of OM SDK, SDKs being able to render and viewability and measurability that the advertisers request, are giving brands much further domination to have finally their awareness in the mobile space in this decade going on. And I think that this is definitely something to pay attention for app developers, creating bigger and greater user experience, and many, many other benefits that app developers were looking for so many years.
Okay. Okay. Chris, I don't know if we still have time, but since are we running out of time?
You can have last question. The last thing that it depends how. Yeah, I've been sitting back and listening. Sure. I don't know if you've got a last question. You want to pick anything from the audience?
Right. So since we talked about metaverse, and that's the topic of the day in a lot of the conferences. So what could the ad experience be like? And we can just open it to everyone. In the new world. Whatever metaverse is, AR, VR, and however it's played. What do you guys envision like the future of ads could be like for the users? Eric, do you guys have new ad formats that you guys are designing for your games?
Well, definitely, the metaverse is something that is going to be upcoming in the next years. Definitely is something that we have in our pipeline to start thinking about, but we actually are not that focused right now, because as Stefan mentioned, it's something that is going to be growing in the next upcoming years. Definitely, I think that the metaverse is something where you can find users, you can find those players that are playing other games, but also other media, social medias, right? And where we can impact. Definitely today, as a game developer, one of the most important sources for us where we bring users is from Facebook, right? It's the social media. So on the metaverse, it's going to be this kind of social media where the people are going to be playing, are going to be doing their second lives, right, over there. And then we're going to be announcing ourselves over there. So these kind of new formats is going to be pretty interesting. There's going to be different ways to develop those things, and you guys, definitely congratulations. This is something really interesting. I really like that format, and it's something that definitely we're going to be exploring in the upcoming days.
Okay. Nate, what about you guys? Are you exploring new genres and thinking about moving to the meta space?
So I think currently we're still pretty focused on mobile and the mobile experience. I think it works really well. Like our games work really well within the form factor of the phone. I know at Ubisoft that this is like obviously like a super huge topic, and you know our parents can definitely tackle a lot of these games a little bit more aggressively than we could. But you know, when it comes to the ad formats and the player experience, I think if we do end up in some of these other platforms, we're always going to be modeling ourselves towards, you know, what can we do to deliver joy to the players? And usually that's probably going to be some sort of reciprocal rewarded format or something else that you know delivers value for them and isn't interruptive and it isn't too painful. So no matter where we go with ads, we're going to make sure that the players are enjoying themselves.
Shalom, your view on this?
Just as shared as I definitely think that this is a brand demand opportunity. I think that the metaverse will create an opportunities for brand demand that were forgotten the past decade, and that brings much more abilities for them to finally get in front of the audiences in a medium that wasn't necessarily available for them, specifically around the gaming space in the past several years. So that's my intake on that. I think that it will take some time. It's not Facebook anymore, it's Meta. We'll need to adjust. But I think that definitely this is really interesting to keep an eye and attention the next several years.
Mm-hmm. So, Stefan, I know you guys have a big view on this.
Yes, interesting. I was with my father this weekend and I was explaining to him, you know what it's like when we start talking to our parents about what we do. And I, you know, it is so new, right? There's a lot of buzz around it. You know, in essence, the metaverse is a virtual high street. So to some extent, whatever we can do, if we walk down a normal high street, it could be buy clothing, it could be kind of interact with people, it could be go to concerts, it could be go to events. In theory, that's what the metaverse is about. You know, you can touch and feel things virtually, you can interact with people virtually, but it is in this virtual world. You know, we have to take it step by step. We start with what we know, which is the virtual ads as such. But I think that the next stepping stone for us is to actually look to create sort of stores for brands within plots within the metaverse that allows consumers to engage within those environments, depending on what that brand might be. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that the great thing for the metaverse is Facebook and their change of, well, now Meta, you know, it's great because something has come on people's radar, which is helping everyone within this industry.
Great. Wonderful. Well, this has been a great panel. We have so many more questions we weren't able to get to, and some from the audience as well, but it's really great to hear the insights from all the speakers today.
Yeah, that was great. And thank you so much, Amy. You did a really good job, your first panel. There you go. If you ever get tired of running a massive game publisher, then, you know, there's always a second job there. So that's good. Thank you so much, guys, and Amy for a great panel, for rounding off that day. So I'm going to let you disappear to your various parts of the world. We're in China, we're in Spain, we're in wherever. Stefan, love that Tash. Love it. That's brilliant. Fantastic.
Thank you. I'm getting some good compliments in the office at the moment.
Yeah, so. you need to post where you can donate on that. That's really great. No, and nothing against Nate or Shalom's facial hair. Yours is very good as well. It looks like you're a bit more comfortable with yours. Have maybe had it for a bit longer, whereas that's.
I wish somebody told me I could make use of this Scruff like earlier on, for good.
Yeah, it's good. Well, just say you are. I mean, I can't pretend I am. I did it a few years ago.
Days if you want to get involved, Nate.
Yeah, I'm going to shave now. I'm going to shave now.
Just shave the beard off. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and thanks for your insight and sharing. I'll let you disappear. I'm sure the audience can find you and your various companies if they're looking for advice and insight. So, thank you very much. I'll let you disappear into the metaverse now.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Cheers, Nate. Bye, Amy.